Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I sincerely appreciate everyone and all of the hard work that you've done to put this budget together, and I appreciate all the time that you put in for the city of Ashland and the people here, so thank you very much. And I became interested in this issue I'm going to raise with you with the Ashland Fire Department when I went to the town hall meeting. I can't remember when it was, December, November, whatever. And I was sitting at the fire department table, and I heard that the calls for service, the EMS calls, had gone way up. And I spoke to one of the fire personnel that was there, and she mentioned that, I asked her, I said, have heart attacks and strokes and cardiac arrest calls gone up? And she said, yes, they have. And I was very interested, and so I reached out to Chief Sartain, and I requested to see the data. I wanted to see the call data for what's going on with these calls. And I asked him for the last 5 years, every month, the tally broken down by the call type. I wanted to see that data, and he's pushed back and said, I'm not going to give you that. I'll give you my top 10. So he did give me his top 10 report, and in 2022, his top 10 report accounted for 37% of the data. So the chief's top 10 accounted for 37% of the data, and again, my interest in this, and I've communicated to you via email, you might remember, is that the calls for service went up about 6.9% in 2020, about 10% in 2021, and about 12% in 2022. And the chief told you at the May 11th meeting that they're already up 14% this year. You know what that looks like on the graph, right? It's not exponential, but the chief used the word exploding. The calls for service are exploding. And I'm imploring you to inquire as to why. And I'm asking you to add a footnote. I know you're going to approve the fire department budget. It's clear that we need more resources in the EMS division. I'm asking you to request that the council add a footnote to the fire department budget requesting Chief Sartain to produce a report by month for the last 5 years of the call types. Let's see what's going on. Let's not speculate about unhoused people. Let's not speculate about older people coming to Ashland to die. And suddenly, all of a sudden, our calls are going up because people are just flooding Ashland so they can die here. I mean, we need to look at what's going on. Because if we learn from that, we could give advice to the people in the city. We can prioritize and possibly reallocate the fire department resources. We can prioritize them. We can come up with a strategy. But for us to simply be enamored by the administrator's elegant revenue model, based on a 5% increase projection in calls for service, which I don't know where that 5% came from because the chief said they're already up 14% in this year. But there's a model that was produced that says, don't worry about it. We can scale up as many calls as you get. We'll just keep adding staff, and it's going to pay for itself. It's all going to be good. Don't worry about it. We've got this. We've got a model where the EMS division will pay for itself. Isn't that beautiful? And I don't mean to be cynical, and I know you're not cynical, but why is nobody on this committee or the council asking the chief why? And in the April 3rd meeting, the chief said he had no idea why overlapping calls for service were occurring. Well, you're not going to get an overlapping call for service unless you're getting multiple calls for service. The basic question is, why are your calls for service going up? The chief confessed he didn't know why. He gives me his top 10 report, and in 2022, it accounted for 37% of the data. Okay, Chief, are you not interested in the other 63%? We're not. I'm imploring you to request a footnote on the budget. Go ahead, give them the money, but let's see the data. And he mentioned at the May 11th meeting that CMS is going to do an audit of the call volume, so we know there's a government entity coming here to look at the call volume. Well, let's get ahead of that. Let's look at the call volume ourselves. Maybe we can give some good advice to the people of Ashland about what's going on here. I'm not interested in speculations from the chief, but let's look at the data. And I requested the data in good faith, and he said he'd give me his top 10, and he's probably laughing in his sleeve at me now that he didn't give me what I asked for, and he's going to get away with it. I'm asking you to ask him for it. I'm asking you to ask the chief for the data. Let's see the data. What is going on with these calls? Don't just give them the money and say, we don't, do any of you care that calls for EMS service have gone up 14% already this year on top of a 6, 10, and 12% increase over the 3 previous years? Isn't that something we should be interested in? So I thank you for your time. And again, I sincerely appreciate your skill and diligence in serving this community, and I'm asking you to please request from the chief, as a budget footnote, a breakdown. Last 5 years, month by month, call type. Thank you very much.